Good morning, my dear loving students of English First Honors First Year of English Department, Gurudel Government College, Kishoreganj. This is my second online class I am going to conduct with you. My first online class was on the orientation program. Dear students, my name is Mohammad Sulaiman Khondokar, Associate Professor and Head of the Department of English of Gurudel Government College. I again welcome you to my online class. In your syllabus, there is a course Introduction to Poetry, and one of the pieces of the poetry is a famous poem, Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, written by Walt Whitman. Dear students, before going through the poem, let us take some idea about Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman is one of the greatest American poets. His popularity in the field of American poetry is immense, undoubtedly. He wrote some most famous poems which have become immortal in the minds of the people who love American poems. His famous poems are Lips of Grass, O Captain, My Captain, and Passage to India. Walt Whitman was born on 31st May 1819, and he died on 26 March 1892. Whitman started his work when he was 12 years old only. He was second of nine children of his parents. And his life was not comfortable. He had to undergo a lot of hardship. He worked as a printer, a carpenter, an editor of a newspaper, and long 10 years he worked as a clerk in an office in Washington, D.C. He shifted his job frequently. He did not confine himself to any particular job. As a result, he could not save much money and he had to struggle. In his life. Dear students, let me tell something more about Walt Whitman. Walt Whitman mixed with cross sections of people. He mixed with the working class of people especially. He took the people with confidence and placed them under the sunshine of modern, healthy and vigorous outlook on life. He made the people realize reality and enjoy life to the brim. Anyway, now let us see what the poem deals with. Crossing Brooklyn Ferry basically deals with the reality of life and its aims in optimism. The poem has 9 sections in total. The first section of the poem deals with the setting, that is the place and time, and the main characters of the poem. The characters of the poem are the poet himself and the passengers on the ferry. The theme of the poem, Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, is that ferry is a boat which unite people of all sections. That is, indiscriminately, people of all walks of life cross the river with the ferry. The ferry carries the people of different classes from the river, from the one part of the river, from the one shore of the river to the another shore. That is what the poet wanted to mean, is that though the journey through the ferry is of short time, but the ferry unite the people for the time being. For the time being, all sections of people are united in the ferry, and when the ferry or the boat reaches to the shore of another shore of the river, the people get down from the boat and go to their different destinations. The fact is that the ferry here has been used as a symbol. The ferry is symbolic in the sense that our life is like a ferry, like a boat. Our life is flowing. It is a continuous walk in the earth. We start our journey when we are born, and our journey ends at our death. So the ferry here in this poem has been used symbolically. Walt Whitman is, like Robert Frost, a symbolic poet. This poem gives us a melancholic note also. Human life on this earth is undoubtedly transitory. Human beings are short-lived. When he is born, he is destined to death. So this is the main theme of the poem. My dear loving students, crossing Brooklyn Ferry is a long poem. It has 9 sections. Now let us read the first section of the poem. Flood tide below me, I see you face to face. Clouds of the west, sun there half an hour high, I see you also face to face. Crowds of men and women attired in the usual costumes. How curious you are to me. On the ferry boats, the hundreds and hundreds that cross, returning home, are more curious to me than you suppose. And you that shall cross from shore to shore, years hence, are more to me, and more in my meditations than you might suppose. Every day the job of ferry goes on. That is, the ferry carries people from one shore to another shore of the river. And this process is going on from time immemorial. This will not stop. That is, the ferry will carry people always. Every day, hundreds and hundreds of people cross the river by the ferry, and this will continue generation after generation. People will cross the river, they will reach at their destination, and this process will repeatedly continues in this way. So it might be not very interesting subject matter to common people, but this subject matter is very essential to the poet. This is the food of meditation of the poet. Some people might think that this is not a subject matter to think over, but as the poets are inquisitive, they find their food in this subject. So this is the sum and summary of the sum and substance of the first section of the poem Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. My dear loving students, I would like to discuss the other sections of the poem in the next class, inshallah, and I would like to thank you for joining with me in my class. Thank you once again. Be safe and healthy. Thank you all.